You won't believe the reason I've been MIA. Odds are you actually will, but here's a story. I committed to starting a video log and documenting me rebranding and restarting my online business, online passion project, and sharing what I learned along the way while I'm figuring things out. So we're doing great. Weekly videos, update from the car, then iOS updates, and for some reason, my audio stopped playing, stopped recording in the car. Same setup, same audio input output as I was using in the first couple of videos, but for some reason, it wasn't recording. So here's how that became a pain and truly the reason for a long break. And I know you probably don't care about the break, but again, we're documenting the process, so I want to share what happened. And we are in the month of January, which is crazy, and I haven't been on the channel since December. Not for lack of trying, but for lack of technical malfunction and then not breaking the routine to figure out what was going on. So every morning on the day that I was recording, I'd get on my car, I set up my phone, started the recording as I'm driving. Great thoughts, great ideas, like some takeaways from my session with my therapist, talking about family and holidays. Great message. Get to my destination, test the video. Like I should be testing it right now because I got a new piece of equipment, new microphone happening here. So get to my destination, turn it on before uploading, zero sound. Try it on every device, nothing. I am on to my next thing, to the destination and to-dos of the day. Never figured out what happened. The next day, actually it's been a week apart. The next week I get ready to do another recording, get in the car, start talking, start sharing my ideas, giving an update, get to my destination, test, again, no sound. A week goes by, 2 weeks go by, Christmas holidays, I disconnected, unplugged from business and work world and really enjoyed the holidays, which I'm not going to go back and talk about it at this point. That ship kind of sailed. But what was ironic, after that, I also gotten sick with a slight cold that converted into laryngitis, or maybe just for a day lost my voice. It was a combination of things, but finally feeling better. Get in the car. I did build that routine. So one of the intentions of starting video logs was to create a habit and routine of recording, uploading, sharing. So get in, feeling better, things are good, ready to get back into the swing of things. Great recording. Was such a great message. And by then, because it's been a couple of weeks, I was like, shoot, what about the sound? Get to my destination, test the sound, zero sound. So after there was 3 attempts. If I was editing these videos, I'd put the clips on for you with zero sound. At this point, I'm doing one-take recordings and uploading them as is. We will get to beautiful B-rolls and we will get to edits, but for now, video logs are just in a raw, I shouldn't say raw, it's a pretty nice setup with camera and actions and microphones, but pretty straightforward, right? The idea is to build a muscle, document the process and the progress, and eventually we'll get into themed videos. But at this point, I am committed to just doing the video recordings. So anyway, so these stories, 3 videos, nothing happens, nothing works. I am discouraged and disappointed because not only the videos didn't work, those were some really good messages. And those messages, just like this one, are not scripted. And yes, of course, we can script things and prepare. But the idea for this video log was to just get in the habit of sharing updates. So another challenge. So hopefully we are recording. Hopefully there is sound coming out of this handsome new microphone. So that's one thing. That's what's been going on. Another thing, I've gotten so deep into retrospection and removing the pain and the struggle from the process of rebuilding my business. Having a business sounds like such a big word. And having one that experienced a certain level of success and then was put on hold creates an extra pressure, because when you start from zero, you're blissfully unaware of things that are coming ahead and things to be concerned about. You just have excitement, probably lack of knowledge, so you just dive in. And as you start building and you get some traction and you get customers and you have some success stories, like, the pressure builds. And I shared in a previous video log the reason the business went on hold, but the point is not there. Where we are right now, this sense of ready to do it again, ready to build smarter this time, has been percolating for a while. I have a very fulfilling, very demanding day job that pays all the bills, gives me all the things, but it was getting to the point that it was consuming not only all my time, but also all my energy, physical and mental. And when I was coming home, and that's how I originally started my side gig, once I would be done with a day job, I'll get home and the passion was, consuming. So I jump in and I'll stay up late into nights, think about whatever that is always working on, selling, creating, serving, learning the tech, getting into, funnel building and email marketing and creative side of things. So I was all over, in a good way, all over the place, consumed by this passion project that was intended to be my second source of income. And the day job, I was very committed. I've always been a good employee, committed to my work, proud to do the work I do, whatever that was. And anyway, so in this point in my life, I love my job. I'm good at my job. I am truly enjoy what I do. It challenges me, it pushes me, but because like any career, there is a growth phase, right? There was a period where you're learning and trying, and it was intense. And I've been there, I'm going on 5 years, so I've been there for a second, but the first couple of years were so intense that, again, we're not curing cancer there, so like not building spaceships, it's a sales job. But when somebody like myself, hopefully like you, when you take pride in what you do, that is consuming. When your identity is tied to at least a degree to your job title, like, you invest into that. So anyways, get to the point of I just didn't have the mental or physical capacity to take on another project, so my business went on hold. I'm thawing out of this, under pressure crisis mode, always work. And some of it is my own decisions. Nobody forced me to grow fast, to do good. I set my own expectations really high. But with all that being said, I get to the point of like, okay, I think we can get to it. And it started last September, like a year ago. So we're going on a year and a half, when I went to Funnel Hacking Live. Big fan of Russell Brunson, of Funnel Hacking community. That's the marketers that I feel a part of. I feel like those are my people. And he's just a amazing marketer himself, great human being, and he attracts people in his world who are like that. The speakers at the event and the attendees are always a mixed bag, right? But generally speaking, a lot of good people, a lot of passionate people. So that was my jump start to my passion project 2.0. So last September, last fall, I went to the event. After that, came back fired up. Still, work was consuming me, so I started gaining traction, but oh so slow. And I was missing the simplicity. And I was missing the ease. I'm always willing to work hard. I'm always willing to stay up late, to learn, to invest, whether it's tech or new course, a coaching, whatever I need to do to figure things out. I'm there. But I was missing the ease. Back 10, 12 years ago, when I first started side gigging, starting my own online thing, it was first time I broke out of the mindset that you just work a job for income. And the idea of having a passion and purpose and paycheck combine, and hopefully not a paycheck, but income combine, that blew my mind. And I was so passionate and excited about it. It was all consuming. But this time it felt heavy and it felt hard. And even though I resuscitated my excitement and creativity after going to the live event, I was still lacking something and I just could not figure out what I was lacking. So that came to me in the past month. What was interesting is from that September, from the funnel hacking 8 or 9 to the following spring when I got into Sean Cannell with YouTube Think Media team, got introduced into his world and his work, and I started thawing out from this crisis mode work, stress mode work into creativity and understanding that work job pays our bills and that's great, and our online businesses can only also pay bills, and we hear all those people making millions and all the crazy money. That's great, but your job can pay for your living, and your side gig can fuel your creativity and curiosity and make you be a human in its full and beautiful form. And what I mean is, when we have all our needs, basic needs met, we're fed, we're clothed, we have a home, hopefully we have loved ones, right? We have a work of some sort we're doing. We're getting to, pyramid of Maslow's. I love his steps of needs and how that pyramid grows, right? We get higher and higher. The whole self-expression, the desire to self-actualize, to self-express. If everything else is covered, we can work on that. And it's a privilege, and I understand it's a privilege. If you're starved, if you're worried for your safety, that's not where you're getting creative. And we are, a lot of us, get to self-express, get to be creative, get to do fun things online, in digital world, creating. And I am a creator at heart, and I'm an artist at heart. I went to art school when I was a child. I was always drawn to visual arts, so more, whether it's digital or hand drawn, that's my thing. So anyway, letting myself get creative and getting into video, getting into digital art. I have recently picked up a digital notebook that allows me to sketch and draw and do all that fun stuff. It's like I am coming alive again. And if it makes me a side income, and if it makes me a big income, wonderful. But if it doesn't, that is also wonderful. Because I got to the point that I put so much pressure on myself producing and making more money and achieving and achieving and achieving and having a job and having a business and do that it became like an obligation, and it felt like it was done under pressure. So work, any work, no matter how much you love your job, there is stress with it. And truth be told, running a business online is going to be stressful, and you're not going to love every facet of it. But when it's your baby, like when it's your creative expression, first of all, it should fuel you as a human, and it should fuel your passion, and it should help you and allow you to find and rediscover your passion. And I was missing that till the very, very last few weeks. So again, doing the job, living the life, being an adult, all the things, things were going really, really slow. And I always say that at work, money loves speed, business loves speed. So if you want to gain traction, the speed of action really matters. The longer you wait to take action on the idea, the more likely you are to lose passion, lose traction, lose momentum. And another thing that's been kind of circling in my mind, it's like, if you're not moving forward, you're not standing still. You're reverting backwards. And it's an idea I have elaborated on in the Creating Your Best Year workshop, which is actually, that's the exciting reveal, that's gonna become a digital course. So I've been working on that and just letting my creativity flow. And again, I understand it's a privilege, and I understand it's something not everybody gets to do in the world. I don't know, maybe all of us in the US of A get to do, but I know for sure not everybody in the world. It's not true. Not everybody here gets to do that too. And I've been, not that long ago, I've been in this crisis stress mode when life was happening to me and my family, when life is happening in the world that was consuming me. I couldn't function. Nobody was worried about creativity. I was just worried about getting out of bed and not being depressed. And I make it sound a little dramatic, and maybe now it just, the memories have subsided, so it's not as intense. But it was a stressful and intense period. And I still had to function, and I still have to adult, and I still had to um, produce and present at work. So coming home and having to do something just felt like a lot. So I allowed myself and tried that on for size to get more playful, to get more creative, to do something that brings me joy and makes me happy. And I know how that sounds. And yes, I want to serve people, and actually serving people and helping people get results does make me happy. But also doing it for somebody else's sake, neglecting your own needs and feelings, that's not cool. You know, at work we might be forced to do things we don't necessarily love because it's part of job description. Like, you know, if you need to make collection calls and you're in sales, that sucks. Not a fun job. But it's part of your job, so you get to do it. But when you start your business, and yes, there are things that are going to be difficult, but generally the concept, the idea, the process should be joyful and light. And I'm a believer in, like, change my mind. But I've tried it both ways. I've tried it the hard way. And I've tried to run my business like I ran my job, where I felt like my worth was so dependent on my output. And I'm still working on it, but this is progress. This is what I'm talking about. This is progress. And you might be thinking, it's like, what? How is that progress? Move on in. Here's the story. This is something I've been working on with my therapist. And whenever I say this, I don't know, I feel like there is still stigma around getting support with your mental state. And not necessarily, you don't have to be broken or defective or cuckoo bananas to ask for help. But you might be stuck in a pattern loop that you're not able to snap out of, and having somebody from the outside just guide you out of it is like a perfect reason to go to therapy. And maybe you're dealing with some personal things, health things, relationship things, dynamics of some sort that you're looking for help. But I truly believe that people in the most successful phase and a most healthy relationship can benefit from therapy. Example from a successful space. This is a side quest story. You might reach a level of success you've been working towards, and you had it on your goal board and you have it on your resolution list. And then you get to this goal and it's almost like, is it for real? Is it real? I could really get this, and I'm here. And now what? And now what, as in, like, what do we do now? What do we do next? Or you start getting the self-worth issues rearing up there, and being like, am I worthy of having this? Am I deserving of this success or this income or this pay or this recognition or whatever that is, right? So the quote goes, new level, new devil. I think it's a positive thing, even though devil is not. But you reach to the next level and you haven't had a manual to that, right? In the family life, people will say, like, spouses don't come with manual. Yeah, you just figure it out. Kids don't have with manuals. You just figure it out. So success, same thing. You get to the next level. It's like you wanted that, but you're not prepared. You don't know what to do with this. So getting help there, and yes, we can self-study and self-analyze and self-develop, but like anything else, having a mentor, I almost think of my therapist like my mentor. She does hear about my business and my work and all the things. But anyway, so one of the topics I've brought to her, actually, she helped me eliminate, is the connection of worth to producing. So very outcome output driven self of identity and worthiness. Well, that's weird. How do you mean? I mean that I grew up in a household loving, and I think my parents tried to do the best they could with the resources they have. And this is the healed version of me talking. There is still a hurt side that sounds a lot different. But the point is, love wasn't as, I didn't feel that love was given just because. Just because I'm a child, I'm a human, we're all worthy, we're all deserving. It felt very conditional, and it's a realization I got later with age. But it was like, oh, first place in this math competition. Good for you. Graduated with honors from art school. Good for you. You did better than this person, but how did this person? And you did better? Great. Good for you. So it's always comparison. And it wasn't like improvement for the sake of improvement. It was like, let's do better than others, and let's, for lack of better words, shit on other people. Let's talk and see negative things or failure things about them so it elevates us. And it was just a weird, weird perception. And I do believe it's still true for my parents to this point. Like, rewarding accomplishing, not celebrating just being, not noticing just existing and appreciating each other, your children, right, for who you are. And I understand the idea was, I understand what they were trying to do. They wanted us to be successful. They wanted us to have things, achieve things, be productive members of society. They want a better life for us. So like they put forth opportunities, even the opportunities they didn't have. So I'm grateful for that. And I understand for me, being driven for that output has been my superpower. Those are the things that make me successful. That is the thing that gets me feeling discontent from just having a job or just having a life. I always want more. I always want to contribute. I want to experience. I want to have, do more, be more. And it's a great thing, but it also like this constant state of discontent, because no matter how good things are, it feels like something is missing. And I'm always, or used to always look like, what's the next thing? What's the next level? So in the past couple of months, I've been tasked with the idea of exploring the concept, the state of just being, doing more things that bring me joy just because I can. Just because in this beautiful, wonderful country, in this current time frame, we get to sit and put up some cool equipment and talk to the camera and then put this video online with hopes that somebody else will listen and watch and have a takeaway and experience the conversation. Maybe have this playing in the background when they're doing dishes, or getting their steps in for the day, or feeling lonely and just browsing online for some inspiration and some ideas, right? How cool is that? For me, it was getting back to art, getting, again, speaking of art school, I love drawing, I loved painting. I went to the art school. I graduated at the age of 14, so I started at 10. I was a kid, graduated as a teenager, and it became like it's woven into the fabric of who I am. But so was that output-driven, desire and state. So unlearning producing, unlearning being driven by the outcome, by quantifiable things, by tangible things, and really focusing on a state and on intention and on the feeling. Almost felt a little woo-woo, but I very much have a spiritual side to me. I'm interested in things like energy and spirituality and things of that nature, as well as very practical side of things. And I think that's where my approach and methodology is unique to me. I'm a little bit of woo-woo with a whole lot of how-to. And when I coached, that was my approach. When I created my digital courses, that was my idea. You get on the state, you get in the mood, we are visualizing, we are breathing, we are getting in touch with our body before we start the work, we do feel aligned with what we're after. And that was a big part for me in the past year and a half when I'm trying to reinvent myself in this business space. It didn't feel like it was quite aligned. So, the last couple of weeks we've been more in the creative mood, doing creative activities like drawing and sketching and just having more fun with just being and allowing myself to have fun and to enjoy things and not look for an output, just scribbling. It doesn't have to be beautiful. Just enjoy drawing and putting strokes on the paper. Just that was good enough. That put me in a state of, it's like, this is how I want my business to feel. And how do I make it so simple that I remove all the resistance to creating? And removing all of it is probably a big stretch, but most of it. So, long story short, long story long, I looked back at everything I've produced, I recorded, I've put out there into the world and tested, seen results, have other people get results. And I was like, what was the thing that's universally stays true from day one when I was in the fitness world, flexing my entrepreneurial muscle as a fitness coach, to marketing, businessy coaching dynamics, to just having a support community for women, just having that collective group of like-minded women sharing about their challenges and their successes. What has served me through that past decade plus? And funny enough, it was very output driven practice of goal setting. That's a whole different topic, so we'll touch on that later. But I kept going back, and I have a portfolio of digital products I've done, workshops and courses and what have you. And I was like, this one thing, not only did it serve me the most, that I have a decade plus of experience to share as proof in my personal life, I have seen it multiple times in other people who attended my workshops, truth be told, my best, not best, let's stop saying best, worst. My most meaningful piece of work that I've done and created and executed was my live events. And they were small and intimate, but they were transformative. And it's been 5 years. I think the first one I ran in the 2018 till 19, yeah, then COVID shut that. I think in 2-year period, I did like 5 events. And they started small and they, grew. They were local. But to this day, so that's 4 or 5 years, right back, to this day, if I run into a person who wasn't attending at my event, we still have the connection. And it was the best thing when we did an exercise with intention and goal setting within that live event. And I had women 6 months later emailing me and, video came on, emailing me and saying, hey, remember at that event, we talked about setting a goal or an intention for something to accomplish. And for one woman, it was going off and starting a real estate business. Another woman wanted to learn to sail, and she got her captain's license. And just stuff like that. And it was so cool to just circle back to that and be like, see, where your intention goes, energy flows. And if you have no goals, no directions, you're going to float. You won't feel amazing because it's not the destination. It's the sense of movement in the right direction. It's the sense of progress that brings us joy and happiness. So heading somewhere is the real answer. So anyway, that's where we are. I am putting together an outline on the subject, and I've done that. Oh yeah, last subject, and I'll finish up here. A last little note. I've done a live workshop on Instagram, YouTube, in a Facebook group I ran. So like in whatever community space I had, live week before or right after New Year's, that resolution setting time frame. I've done that for 10 years. Last year, I think, was the first time I didn't do it. Or maybe I did. But previous to that, every single January, end of December, I've done it in a live format. I have recordings of it. I've always done it for others, and I've done it for myself. So literally sitting and doing those goals in writing. And I swear by this method. My success is highly connected to what I put on the paper. And I look at it and I have a method, and I'm happy to share and teach you what it is. But I've done that every single year since 2013. And this year was the first year, once we got to December, I was like, I do not want to write goals. I am not in the space to assign numbers to my percentage growth for income, for my volume sales at work. I don't want to put a number to my body weight or muscle mass. And those are I don't want to put how many trips I want to put. I don't want to. And it was so tricky too, because it's like, what does that mean about me? Am I broken? Is what I was relying on for a decade, does it not matter anymore? But here's the truth. We get to change our mind. We get to change and try and do things differently. Maybe you don't do it on December 29th or 31st. Maybe you don't do it on January 1st. Maybe you don't need a new year to reset or restart and look and create a plan and take action on it. Maybe it's your birthday. Maybe it's a random Monday. Maybe it's next Tuesday when you decide, you know what, now I'm ready. And this year especially has been funny because, you know, how universe works in mysterious ways. If you have a message, you keep seeing it. It's like God talks to you through coincidences, right? I keep seeing this message on social media. It's like, January is not an official start to the year. It's a trial month. We're just getting ready. February 1st is when it's a go time. And I'm very much behind this energy this year. January has been between having a little bit of a cold and like wrapping up some things. It just didn't feel like the usual start to the year. And typically also, again, it's like one of the traditions from my homeland where I was raised, New Year's was always a huge holiday there for us. And it's all the things like, it's like Christmas and New Year's here. All the anticipation of New Year's, of midnight, fresh start, plus that hominess and gift giving and all the warmth that Christmas brings. Like, it was a big holiday. And for me, it always like indicated that fresh start, new year, we're getting into the new phase. And this year, it was such a soft slide into the next year. And I'm like, we don't need the new energy. And no, we're not going to talk garbage about 2024 because it was a good year. And any year, like, nothing is all good or all bad. Like, it's what we focus on, we create more of. But it's like, I'm just kind of on a roll. So I'm just going to slide into this new year and see how things go and try things on for myself and then see where we roll from there. So it took me a couple of weeks to even come to like setting goals at work. I'm a salesperson. I am numbers oriented. I am results oriented. That's how I get good at my job. That's like part of my success in this job and this career. Very much numbers, outputs, and I hit those goals. I hit those goals. I hit those goals. And, you know, it's a fruitful pursuit. But it's like, I want a different energy. I want to focus on other things. And I don't know what those things are, but that's where we're going. So that's where we're going. That's what we've been up to. And we're a half hour in. I feel like I caught you up with what's been going on over the past month. And we'll see. Maybe we'll get this audio fixed and I'll get back to regular video logs. This was a lot of thinking and a lot of ideas all at once. And one more thing I do have to say. Now that the days are getting longer, recording in the morning is actually kind of cool. You can see what's going on. But the part I do struggle with a little bit, and I'll let you in on this little secret. I have this very teaching way of talking, and I find that in myself. Like, I want to share for your benefit. The idea of video log is me just saying, hey, look at me. Here's my day. Here I'm driving in the car. Hey, I'm sitting in my office. Look at my cat. Check out my coffee cup. This is just not me. And I'm trying this format of video log because it was the least pressure. It's like, take the pressure off. I want to start publishing constantly. I want to document the progress. It is intimidating and vulnerable being like, here I am, restarting from scratch. And somebody I know might read this and listen to this. Oh, wait, some random stranger on the internet might watch this and think I am whatever. And it's so interesting. Like, yes, we all want to be like, we all want to be appreciated, but also knowing like when you put yourself out there, not everybody's gonna like you. And it's okay. And those are not my people, and I'm not their person. But it's certainly an interesting approach. And I don't know, just switching to this, how can I make it a benefit to the person listening instead of being like, oh, this is just a video log just for the sake of video logging. I'm getting there. But if you get a takeaway or two, tell me. Because I'd love for us to get to know each other, and I'd love for us to build connection and trust. But ultimately, I want you to benefit from this experience. And again, maybe I'm just your conversation, somebody you're talking to while you're doing your chores around the house or going for a walk. Maybe I'm just your background noise when you are walking on a treadmill. It's all good with me. But if you have any aha moments or takeaways or anything was interesting, I'd love to hear that. And tune back in. I promised a weekly log. You know why the break happened. I will stick to it till we make a different plan. Good deal? Till next time.